Hello and welcome. We're here for the 99th Grand Prix in the history of Sunday League. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm joined by a certain Het Meneke.
That is me.
That is you. How does it feel, Het? We're here at Zandvoort. It's your home race. You get to commentate it. It is a lovely, hopefully lag-free evening. What are your thoughts going into this session?
It's going to be as someone who's raced in one of the lower divisions, this is going to be a shit show, I think.
Oh, okay.
It's like, at least in JL, the third division, I have seen so many people just, at least, especially at like the first and like the top left-right turns, it's so easy to just accidentally bump someone off because you're going a little too fast. It's going to be interesting.
Nuno currently leads the timing sheets, which is something. Last time I said it wasn't expected. It wasn't unexpected, rather, but he told me off for that because he said he always bottles the first bit of quali. So we're going to say Nuno leads the timing sheets, which is amazing. This is fantastic news. Nuno, the man who can win a championship, his 5th championship, by being 12th or higher today. Anti-amazing, slots himself onto an equal time of a 32.62. That's phenomenal. That would be a rare tied pole in Sunday League. We've had, I could probably count on one hand how many we've had in the history of the competition, and that is one of the drawbacks, I suppose, of using a 2 decimal point system. But other than that, I mean, that is incredible. Het, who do you think is going to take the pole here? Will either of them improve?
I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. No. Yes, Nuno does. Okay, phew, we don't have a tied pole. That's easier for the stats. Nuno takes pole position here in Zandvoort. The race he won exactly 364 days ago to take his 3rd title. He's going to be looking to take his 5th today. Antti starts on the front row. Corvid starts 3rd. That's where he finished last time out. Buda will start 4th behind him. A special LSA livery ran today. They start 5th and 7th animated there. So we get Mayhem and LSA on rows 2 and 3 of the grid. Then a little behind, sort of slightly offset there, Grandi and Isto and Kubo will start from 10th position. Starting position will be crucial here. We're expecting a lot of crashes off the race start. Then we've got Suicide starting 11th. That's a great position for him. Of course, he scored big points in Castace, and he's looking to redeem himself from last race as well. Kraft will start 12th, ahead of Jaruni and Uris. Then it's Pamucius, followed by Guetzli, and then the reserve drivers today, Joe Porsche and Chevrolet, lock out the back row, both between 9/10 and a second off that pole time. But the whole grid covered by just under a single second. Het Meneke. What's going to happen at race start?
Suis is going to win.
Okay. That's possible, but
he doesn't seem to have a good track record with race starts. So
well, he did well in Central Park from what I remember. Then he got shuffled down. Okay, give us 2 drivers who are going to lag rocket each other out. Could be any 2.
Ooh, I don't really remember who starts where. Nuno and Antti, that'd be dramatic.
Oh, that would be fun. Corvid takes the lead of the Dutch Grand Prix. That would be lovely, actually. So let's hope for that, Nuno and Antti. But they're coming into the first corner slowest, so they'd have to find another spot.
You're saying it's lovely. You are Nuno's boss.
Well, I loved, yeah, I love the beautiful competition that we have here. And if Corvid wins a race, boy oh boy, would I pay him a lot of money to come to RMC. We're here for the race start now. It is just moments away. 45 laps racing at the game's newest space track, Zandvoort. All the drivers are here. And we're underway, and Kraft jumps the start massively there. Nuno and Antti shuffle into the first corner. Who behind will get the brunt of the crashes? Kraft then slightly shuffled off 3 wide. The LSA's a Buda. It's a penalty for Hanandi. Sobel goes through the front 2 as they were. Buda still in there. It's been a red. Oh, we've had a bit of lag there. I think Buda just jumped off there. Isto pushed Suicide into the wall. And Jaruni and Joe Porsche. Those were the 2 drivers in a big lag rocket. Then to 17th and 18th. Guetzli shoved off in the background there as well. And lots of crashing going on through the chicane section. We've got a lot of drivers sweeping through that final corner. Dangerously close to that pit wall, which we've seen from the connection check races. That is absolutely deadly. Het, your thoughts on the race start? Grandi in 3rd.
Tanimator, Cubo, Eurist, and Kraft went 4 wide into turn 1. That was pretty epic.
You don't get a lot of overtaking action here in F1. You certainly do in SL. Sobel runs wide. Corvid right behind him. We'll have to see how these two can progress. Meanwhile, the front two still pretty peachy at the moment, but they've got some soft runners behind, and that could be crucial over the course of the race. They've broken away the top 5 from Danimator behind, but he'll look to bridge that gap throughout the course of the first stint. He's currently running in 6th. With his teammate right behind Buda. It's Kubo looking at a cheeky move up into the hairpin there, of course. The last time we raced in SL, we did race this track. The time before we raced in Zandvoort, there was a lot of hay bales at that corner, so drivers will be relatively pleased to not have them there this time. Isto runs in 10th after a sort of a questionable start. Oh, he's shoved Andy wide into the wall there. I'm not sure if that was a probably discrepancy of what he saw on his screen versus what Andy saw on his. Yeah, Isto slightly jumping there. Problems for the BAR driver, the front two, as they were. Hetmanica.
4-wide battle between Chevrolet, Pimushis, and Chevrolet is slightly falling off, but Pimushis, Giruni are keeping that up. I've been watching that battle for the last few laps. That's been very entertaining to watch. Suis, sadly, he's fallen back a little bit, but the man hasn't been known to get lucky, so a little bit of rain luck and he's back in the game.
Absolutely. There he is. We've got a little bit of jumping, but a raceable amount in my opinion. 15th place for Chevrolet. This is his second race in the sport. It's Joe Porsche's first as the Frenchman gets overtaken by Guetzli, his close neighbour in Switzerland, and Kraft currently backs up the pack at the moment. It's a good starting position turned into a poor start to the race. What's happened?
Danimator and Kubo Corvid are all intensely battling each other.
Look at this.
Sliding off and on the track. It's very, very fun to watch.
The Mayhems are about to go side by side. No, they're not. Danny backs out of that pretty wisely, but we would have loved a little Mayhem lag rocket into turn 1. Nuno has broken away. Grandi is through on his teammate. Antti has let him through because the soft tyre is fastest to start with, but as we get to lap 6, this is that famed crossover point where you want yourself to be on some more durable tyres. The mediums, probably from the 7th lap onwards, look to be the best tyre here in Zandvoort. You can see from the indicator that that's the case. Nuno started on the mediums, and that's a great tyre for him to start on. Grandi, I think, might have hurt his teammates' chances there a little bit, because as they come through here, obviously no intent in that, but Antti comes through now a second and a half behind Nuno, who jumps a little bit there, but I think that is a general server problem, which is a real shame to have that, but we can race through it. Sunday League drivers are gritty people who never complain after the race about anything ever. Hetty, what have you seen further back?
I haven't. My room just got invaded.
Oh, okay. Well, keep us updated on that. Corvid and Danimator. Ooh, Corvid, lovely little switchback into the sweeper. Danny follows Sobel into the pit lane. Don't think we had anybody else in this lap. And Nandi on the softs. And, of course, a reminder for Hetmanica to... he's our co-com and weatherman today. He has to remind Pamushis what the weather is, because the BAR driver for the second race in a row is driving without any comms to the team. They can't let him know when the rain is coming or how intense it will be. So he's just sort of got to trust his instinct on that one, or trust Het's very nice tips rather. We've got light rain, heavy rain, clouds and sun, all commands that Het can type in, and Pimu will know. Nuno currently in first place. His teammate Chevy right at the back. He's stopped early, but he's going to try and make up that difference to drivers like Joe Porsche, who are in the pit lane right now. Buda currently in second position. We'll have to see how that can develop throughout the course of the race. We've got a bit of lag now. That's never good to see. That is a real shame. A reminder, if you're not commentating at the moment, just make sure you mute up so we don't get too much interference in the broadcast. Meanwhile, Buda's still there. Nuno has pitted, and this is a big pack of cars that he gets out right ahead of. That is crucial for the Rapid Motorsport driver, and that is really, really good to see. He's into the pack, he's out in second place, and he's in clean air, and Corvid is the only man between him and that first position once again. So as we saw 12 months ago, it might be another Nuno victory here, and this time there's no Serenade to fight him, not even Nomscar, the alter ego. He's not present at the race today for the second round running. Corvid's into the pit lane, and Nuno is laughing. That championship, you'd say he has one hand on it. He's probably got his arms around it at this point, but nevertheless, he'll still be pushing to the very end of the season. See if he could take a record 8 wins in a season. The only places where he hasn't taken victory, of course, Central Park, where Antti was the winner, and Gosno, where Nomskar was the winner, thanks to some late rain screwery. But interesting races, both of them. Nuno otherwise has, obviously some closely contested. Spain, you had a bit of that. But other than that, some races, pure dominance. Kubo in 9th place. We've got Pamushas and Suez into pit lane. I'll stop monologuing now. We'll focus on a bit of racing action, even if we have lost communication to Hetmenica just for the time being. Isto coming through, and Pamushas, ooh, a little bit of lag there, goes through there as well. He's just ahead of his teammate at the moment, and both of them have stopped that one time. The LSA's backing up a pack here involving Antti and Danny, and maybe very soon Kubo. Currently, 4th place is the position that they are all sharing the same piece of track to fight for, and we'll have to see how this one develops. Hernandi on the media. Oh, we've had a little bit of lag there. We definitely have. We're back. And the order is pretty similar, but still we're going. 2nd and 3rd are Buda and Grandi. Grandi is looking to take his 3rd podium of the season. It's been interesting. He's been inconsistent. Definitely a lot of races. There's some where he's finished down in the depths of 13th and 14th position, but obviously in the second half of SLX, Sunday League X, our 10th season, last time out, he was being chilling. Had 2nd place in Copenhagen, 3rd place in Lusail, and that was a double podium for the Nordic Thunder team. Will it be another one here today? Just might be, if they can get their way past Hernandi and Buda. I think Antti was a slight contributor, and Grandi going off the track there, and he's now being shuffled right down the pack. We've got more lag going on here. This is not good whatsoever. Hey, you're not recording, are you?
I'm not, no.
Okay. Well, lap 14 is where we have it, and still a lot of lag. That is...
I think this might be a lobby end.
Could be.
Lobby is kill. This is not good.
It might have been the het connection. That's a shame.
I'll swap it. I think I'm on the bad one, so I'm gonna swap it now.
Yep. I think don't rejoin the lobby is what I'd say. Just commentate from the screen, otherwise we might get more lag.
Last night at 11 PM I was on the bad Wi-Fi. I switched to the bad Wi-Fi because the good Wi-Fi was fucking about. So I'm now on better Wi-Fi.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, just keep specking from the Discord and we can go from there. Keep your eye on the mini-map. Show must go on. Nuno and Buda.
Still going.
Yep.
Oh Jesus, I didn't even notice that.
Kubo currently in 3rd position. Antti just on the outside there. Hernandi, this has massively benefited Kubo. This maybe patch of lag he can put it down to. But Kubo in 3rd, and this is looking really, really nice for him. He's never even taken a top 8 finish in his Sunday League career. So to take, well, it's looking pretty decent for a podium at the moment. He's definitely climbed his way up through that pack, and pretty off guard as well. I sort of didn't see much of that one going on. We've got Antti and Hernandi both coming through here, and they've got pretty similar age of tyre. Antti on the very precarious exit of turn 1 there, and that is not a good place to be. Kubo just shoved off there, so that will be really interesting. Will he be able to keep some slipstream? Antti and Hernandi still battling going down through there. We'll have to figure that one out. Kubo just behind them, 5th place for him at the moment after some earlier disruption with minor lag. Let's hope that we have a lag-free rest of the race and we don't need to do our new starting procedure, which would be a red flag for the first time in Sunday League, and that'd be not ideal, of course, but a very cool thing to have, where we run the remaining number of laps after the lead across the line for the last time before the lag that killed the server came about. So that's a new thing. Keep that in your mind if you're a Sunday League enthusiast watching on this afternoon. And yeah, really interesting to see. Oh, first credit there. A little bit of history as well. Well, we've not got too much going on in this pack. We'll have a little look back while I tell you. Corvid and Eurus going side by side. This is a great position for Eurus to be in fact. Really, really good. Kubo into the pit lane, as is Antti and Hernandi, and Eurus. And Jaruni, Isto, and everyone's deciding that lap 18 is their lap to come in. And you can't blame them for that. The medium tyres are looking pretty okay at the moment. The hard's also a big favour for a lot of the grid. We've got a pretty hard, heavy split. 5 drivers are on the medium, and we've got 13 on the hard currently. Yeah, that looks about right. Buda is in second, Corvid, then Pamushas. I'd love to see another Corvid podium. He, of course, got the podium last time around. That was touch and go coming up to the line with Hanandi. The classification had him ahead, and the classification is always trusted. So we'll have to see how that one goes. Pamushas still running in 4th place. This is the hard. He's not come in for a second time. One of the top 4 drivers. None of them have done it, and nor has Suicide or Gwetsley or Joe Porsche. So these drivers still have to take that time setback that obviously you will get when you come into the pit lane. Have a look further down the grid. Have you caught anything from the stream?
Well, not at the lobby anymore, but I'm looking a bit on the mini map towards the back half. You can see some battles going on, but it's looking pretty spread out. It's good to see someone like Suis up further than they usually are. But I mean, yeah, that's really all I have to say right now.
Antti, who started up in second, has now found himself in a battle down in that spot right now, and he's got the likes of Dan here. Probably not as high.
I think we've lost communications to Game on Goose there. A reminder for anyone who's not commentating to please mute up, because I think we're getting a little bit of echo at the moment. But yeah, absolutely what Goose. I caught the first half of that, and we've got Antti in 7th position currently. So that's really good to see. Nuno still leads us on lap 22 of 45 here in Zandvoort and Corvid, followed by Hanandi and Buda. This is the tight battle going on over 3rd position. This is the spot best of the rest on the podium. Buda's going to go down the inside into the final corner, but Hanandi will get that run down the main straight unless he just backs off. He is a big fan. His famous S, as a wise man once said. And he has just made a little mistake there, and that might be Buda just running away. We'll do a bit of tyre chat because we've not had enough of that so far. Keep your eyes peeled on how it is at the moment. In 1st place, Nuno, then followed by Buda and Hanandi. We've got Grandi behind, followed by Kubo and Antti. Hard, not very worn. Hard, not very worn. Medium, more worn. Hard, pretty worn for Grandi. Then it's Kubo on semi-worn mediums, Antti on fresher hards, and Danny similar life. He's wisely backed right out of that one, and then come back into it. He's going to go up the inside of Kubo, and Kubo will be loving battling with these top-tier drivers. Danny is the man. Ooh, that looks pretty dangerous back in the background. Danny is currently the man sitting second in the standings. Buda will overtake him following the race results today if things were to end like this. We're just over half distance here at Zandvoort, so we'll have to wait and see how that one goes. Kubo running in a very, very nice position as mentioned previously. We'll have a look at some of the other battles. But right here we've got 3 wide into turn 1, and Antti will take the nice wide berth into the first corner. Just slightly gets blocked on exit by the Flow Force and the Mayhem car, and then cuts a little bit there. Uris running in 8th. This is just behind that pack, and Pamushas will be coming up. He's surely got fresher tyres. He does, just by looks like a couple of laps in that. Corvid in 10th place, and Sobel in 11th at the moment. This is not good positions for the man who was fighting for the win when we visited this track a year ago. Jaruni and Isto with a big dive bomb there, but it has sort of come off, and he's running in 13th position. Then we've got Suicide and Kraft, Gwetsley followed by Chevrolet, battle over 16th, and Joe Porsche just stopped back in 18th position. This is his debut race, and he's a lap down on the lead, and that's still a very respectable pace to be running at for somebody making their Sunday League debut. Right, any battles? We've still got that 8th place battle going on. This is getting pretty heated. Pimu takes a bit of grass there. Sobel will come right through into the 90-degree right-hander for that sweep left, and then the long old sweep right down to the final corner. Corvid and Uris battling while Antti is into the pit lane. Into turn 1 they go. Uris on the outside of the Australian, who probably saw himself quite considerably ahead of the Portuguese man as they approach the apex of that corner. And Uris swept back there, 7th position. Very admirable for him. We'll have a look at our medium tyre runners. 3rd place, Hanandi on pretty worn out mediums. Those should be coming off this lap because that car is going to be skidding around like a truck on ice. Is he? Yeah, there we go. Look at me, I know how to do strategy. Kubo follows Danny, who will both come into the pit lane. Corvid ducks out of that one. Uris is in, as is Sobel. They come in at such high speed. It's very exciting to see them just shuttle into that pit lane after the exit of the final corner here. And they come out in the order they came in. Shocker. We'll have to just wait and have a look here. Yeah. Anti in 7th place at the minute. Right. Anything that you might have seen? Any observations to make? Where should people be? And what's been going on?
Looks spicy on the mini map. Looks pretty interesting. Yeah, I'm trying to focus on the back, but it's difficult when you're not in the lobby yourself, of course. Yeah, not a lot, no.
Not a lot. Fair enough. Isto and Jeru going at it. I've been told I don't focus on the midfield enough, so here you go, Jeru, 13th position, the most climactic fight you can possibly think of today. And here we go. No, Isto's already sort of run off the back of him, so not much going on there. Right, we'll have a look further up where we can. Nuno just lapping Kraft as it is, Buda lapping Chevrolet. So this is an interesting thing to take note of. Nuno, by winning this, would get 30 points. Joe Porsche, in 18th place, would get... Well, sorry, Chevrolet is actually the RMC driver. He would get 1 point. So, 31 points is currently what RMC are on track for. That means that Mayhem would need to be scoring 33 to be ahead of them. And with Buda collecting 25 points for a 2nd place, provisionally, and Danny in 9th place, I believe that would be 12 points or something along those lines, maybe 10-ish points, somewhere around that region. It would be swinging into the favour of the Mayhem drivers, and that would be good to know. He's catching Kubo. Kubo's driver right ahead of him, and he's running on very similar age medium compound tyre. Up lead, still Nuno, followed by Buda. That was how it was at the end of last race. We've got Hanandi and Corvid with a great fight here. We'll just follow on board with it for a little bit now to see who's going to come out ahead. And it looks like Corvid on the hards is just slinging back from the Hungarian man looking for another podium this season in Sunday League. Of course, Hanandi took... oh, we've got some lag there. Are we back? Oh, lap 32 of 45 here. It's not been ideal conditions for racing, but they've gone through it just for the time being. We'll have to have this sorted somehow come next week, because that is the finale in Monaco for the 100th race in the sport. You don't want that to be ruined by lag, do you? That'd be pretty annoying. Right, so as it stands, yeah, Danimator running in 8th place. That would be 11 points. 9th is 9, 10th is 8. That will be a pretty convincing Mayhem championship. They only need to outscore Rapid Motorsport by just 2 points this race. However, Nuno, by finishing 12th or higher, takes the Drivers' Championship. So we've got a couple of what might be looking like foregone conclusions at this point. Obviously, Caddo out today, so Chevrolet in. And Joe Porsche in for Nomskar as well. Nuno's into the pit lane, as is Buda. He's not going for any sort of overcut, undercut, wobbling free there. He's just going to get that same strategy in, and it is Hanandi coasting through into turn 1. Hungarian driver takes 2nd place in this race, and that is a position he's going to try and hang on to, but Buda behind on very, very fresh hard compound tyres. Will not be having any of it. Goes through, Hanandi lets him. Lovely jubbly, sound as a pound. Grandi, 4th place, Corvid, and he's in the middle of, and I haven't said this in a while, good old-fashioned Viking sandwich, but the Viking of Anti-Amazing is getting his elbows out here, and Corvid is having none of it. He goes into that 90-degree right-hander and comes out of it still just ahead of the 2nd Finn on track. Kubo now behind this pack, and he's looking very nice for a 6th place finish. Of course, Zandvoort has historically been a great place for great finishers. We've had Hyperion, if anybody remembers, back in his good run at the end of Sunday League Season 7, he finished 8th place here, and the star performer, and I believe driver of the day winner, despite the fact that Nuno won the championship, it was Rams, finishing in 5th place. Will we see Kubo, the young Pole? Sunday League, he's had a couple seasons under his belt, and he's finally climbing up into the highest echelons of the league. He goes through into that esteemed 5th place. Still behind Buda is Hanandi. He is not going to have that much longer on those medium compound tyres. He's going to be pitting pretty soon. Nuno runs in the lead at the moment, and Kubo just behind Anti as well. We'll scroll back down through the field. Let's do a tyre check from the top. Nuno on pretty fresh hards. Buda on the same age. They pit on the same lap. Hanandi's got to be getting rid of those mediums soon. I'd gamble on this lap maybe, because those are looking pretty rusty. No, say it out. That might play into his favour with a bit of rain. And of course I will take the burden of rain announcement if and when that does come. But we've had a dry race so far in Zandvoort, and that has been, well, something. It's not been strategically fascinating from a spectator point of view. I'm sure a lot of drivers would be, ooh, Primu just getting wide there. A lot of drivers will be heatedly involved in a strategy battle, but I think the lack of the fight for the lead of the race has meant that, obviously, and with first and second being on the same strategy, we're not getting quite what we had once upon a time, I believe. So, yeah, I saw one driver fly off a lapped car, and I believe that's a disconnect for someone. Might have been Joe Porsche, not quite sure. We'll keep an eye on that. Nuno in first, followed by Buda, and Danimator now in third place, with Hernandi finally having come into the pit lane. It's quite funny that being in the pit lane under a lag storm. It's like sort of serving a stop under a VSC, really, unless you get taken out by a flying car, which would not be great. Grandy's right behind. These are two drivers in a heated pursuit of the podium position. This is really important now because we're not expecting any more stops from these front-running drivers. This will be it, and they are only a second off Danimator, who in turn has recovered fantastically up to third position, but he's going to lose those spots now as he comes into the pit lane, and he will emerge in 8th place behind Kubo, Corvid, Grandy and Hernandi. This, despite a lack of fight for the lead, will be a fascinating fight for the for the highest positions, because Kubo and Anti and Corvid all looking, it's a very precarious place to fight. You're never finding gravel too far from the track, but Kubo taking some great lines there. Corvid sticks it around the outside, side by side into the right-hander. Finally a bit of action here. We've got a 3-car train, and just ahead of them, another 2-car train. Grandy weaving. Can Andy take the straight line speed past Corvid, past Kubo, into turn 1 they go. It's looking very precarious. The Australian dips back underneath the both of them on lap 40 of 45 here. Corvid up into 5th position once more ahead. Still a fight. Grandy versus Hernandi. Hernandi has 2 wins in Sunday League. Grandy has 2 podiums in Sunday League. Drivers who haven't been around for the longest time, but are certainly looking good here. Buda, meanwhile, has kept that 3-second gap to Nuno pretty much all race long. And you've got to credit him for that, but he's just not been able to make inroads on the, provisional Portuguese champion here. He's got a great championship lead, and this will be a stylish way to confirm it. His 32nd win in Sunday League, but we'll save that for 4 laps time. Unless he DNFs, that would be... Oh, heavy rain coming. We'll have to let Pamushas know. Oh dear, we seem to have lost our main camera, but no worries, we'll try and bring you the best footage that we can with a compilation of onboards. You can see the technical issues here, flying cars all over the place. The drivers will have to struggle through it. You can see in the top right, Grandy, in the bottom right, Anti, in the bottom left, Corvid. They've all come in to the pits, and we'll have to see how they do on the exit when the cars get back into position. Looking at Anti, Kubo spawns right in front of him, and I think we're through the worst of it now. Suicide is into the pit lane. Nuno, crucially, is in behind him. Buda stopped the lap before. We'll have to see as we lose our blimp view officially. Chevrolet seem to find that quite funny. We'll see the bottom left, Anti versus Kubo, our main camera, Suicide, and we'll just minimise the bottom left one because you can see that Nuno, crucially, with Buda right behind him. But for now, we'll follow Grandy versus Hernandi. They're fighting over 3rd position. Hernandi with a dollop of podiums in his career. Grandy only 2 so far. Corvid and Danimator right behind them. Danimator, our reigning world champion, don't forget. Although Nuno could win it today, can he chase Corvid down through the chicane section? No, he takes a bit of grass there, and he'll just fall back a little bit from the Australian man in 7th place. Kubo still leading Anti. Anti might try and craft a move up the inside into the 90-degree right-hander. No, he doesn't quite manage to do it that time. Suicide is a lap down in 14th place, but crucially, look behind him and you'll see the ghosts of Nuno and Buda. They are on their penultimate lap of the race, fighting over the lead. Nuno still has it for the time being. Buda goes for it, and he gets a penalty through the sweeper section. As we come into the next corner, we'll have to see how much of a gap that's given Nuno. Buda's not outside of his slipstream range as they come thundering through the final corner. 1 lap to go in the Dutch Grand Prix. They go side by side into turn 1. Nuno defends the inside cleanly. Buda stays on track. He'll have another go into turn 3. Needs to nail the exit. Nuno doesn't. Buda doesn't. Takes the lead of the Dutch Grand Prix here. Up through the right-hander. Buda will try and cover the inside. Nuno tries to pry a gap, but there's nothing there. They head through the 2 sweepers now. This is the last chance maybe that Nuno will get up the inside. He doesn't take it. He'll have to pray for a very good run out through the banked final turn. Outside, inside, where's it going to be? Buda moves over, and he moves Nuno into the grass. Buda on track will win the Dutch Grand Prix, but that will no doubt be disputed after the race. Grandi will come home in 3rd place, his 3rd career podium, and Andy behind. Antti and Kubo side by side over the line. Corvid just ahead of Danimator 2. That is all the excitement and action in your top 8 there, and it looked like Buda would cross the line in 1st position. Nuno would have been right alongside him, but he did take the grass at the very end there. It was Grandi on the podium, Hernandi behind him. Andy just takes 5th. Kubo with his best finish. We'll look at the final results now. Nuno, after 45 laps of racing, will win the Dutch Grand Prix. Buda will take 2nd place, finish 3/10 ahead, but penalised a position. Grandi takes his 3rd career podium. Nordic Thunder with a podium today they'll be pleased with. 5th place as well, and Hernandi splits them in 4th. Kubo takes his best ever finish, just a position behind Antti. They were side by side over the line. Danimator will take 7th. Corvid penalised 5 seconds in the end. Pamushas 9th, and Uris takes his 2nd top 10 of the season. Sobel, the Jaruni, I stole these words, Suicide, Kraft, Chevrolet, Gwetsley Boy and Joe Porsche. Looking at the driver's standings on 249 points, Nuno, Full Rapid Motorsport for the 5th time, is the world champion in season 11. He's taken 7 wins, and it couldn't go to a more deserving man. Buda in 2nd place, Danimator in 3rd. They will win the Constructors' Championships. The defending champions, Mayhem Racing, take back-to-back wins. We'll have to see, with both championships tied up, how these drivers do in Monaco. But for now, for the Dutch Grand Prix, goodbye.